why we staying calm? Why we staying calm?
I get too excited sometimes. I'm just
Nah.
no.
No, you're good. All right, welcome to Echo Chamber session in between sessions. We haven't actually streamed one of these. We've done them separately for several weeks just privately, but it's
RC.
yeah. Uh, but we figured we'd jump back into it, and uh, I think the elephant in the room is what I wanted to talk about the most. I know Keegan and I were just chatting a little bit, but Gorge's dark side. How do we feel? Do we feel it's dark side? Do we feel? Where are we at? Go ahead, E
I,
first.
I feel it's like one of those dark sides that he doesn't know that he has, sort of thing. Like where did that kind of come from? Uh, yeah, it's I'm curious on if there's more to this story, or if this was just just an incident.
I kind of hope G incorporates it. Like maybe it wasn't like
Uh,
accidental, but isn't that kind of the way
how?
characters develop sometimes for you?
Yeah. Exactly. A lot of things are just what is it? Not natural. What's the word?
Organic?
Yeah, organic, I guess. Yeah, just things happen that way. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Keegs, you're finishing that bite. What was your initial thoughts on it? We'll dive deeper. I promise. It's not just going to be a quick brush, but
Willow loved it, dude. Like Carl was telling you, I thought about killing the guy, right? Because I have some spells to do that. I was like, I could kill him, but I want to see what the party does. Like, we didn't capture anybody in the fight. When we got ambushed in the alley, right? We let the guy go, and I was really hoping we'd get to see like what everybody does. And part of it was Keegan too, just because we have fun interrogating people. I guess fun is
wait,
fun's
we
a
we
fun
I
is a
haven't
great
been a part of a single Well, all right, other than Glassstaff, Amrook has not been part of a single interrogation in the Fandolin 5.
by we I mean like us. Like I feel like some of our interrogations are definitely more us versus our characters. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. And I feel like, and I'm glad Garrett's here now. I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah, yeah.
and I could totally be wrong on this. But Willow wanted to see what the party would do interrogation wise. No idea that George was gonna go off and turn like Sith Lord and shit. But I feel like I was like 75% Gorge and 25% Garrett being like, see guys,
I
we don't
feel I feel it's
actually
the other way around. 75%
Yeah, I think
Garrett,
it was like
25% Gorge.
maybe
yeah,
it was.
yeah,
But I feel
yeah.
like that was Garrett's something like saying, hey guys, this is how you actually interrogate. Don't kill everyone. Yeah.
That
Uh,
is exactly what I wanted. That is
yeah.
4 years of repressed DMing
Yeah.
for interrogations and being on the other side.
But it was cool though because like it showed us a side of Gorge that you know like I mean you gave us the facial expressions at the end of like okay I can't believe I pulled that out of my ass, right? So I feel like I don't know if anybody insight checked him. I think
Yeah, I
somebody
did.
did at the end,
Galen
I
right?
did,
Yeah,
Galen
they
did.
did.
but I didn't. I failed terribly at it. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a thing where I'm interested to see like Willow, well Keegan, but Willow's more interested to see how far Gorge takes that because Willow didn't do an insight check. He didn't really care. He was just watching the show at that point, right? So he wants to see what happens next, right? Yeah, because some of us are
I'm
religious.
kind
I
of
don't know
curious to see
about
what happens next too.
yeah.
Gorge put on the show of his life.
I was excited.
I, so I agree.
Gorge was a drama kid in school. That's all it really was. He was playing the part.
Yeah. Oh,
I completely agree. 75% G and 25%. But G, now that you joined, I did say because Eric made the comment about whether we were going to see the dark side of Gorge, and I said, well, I really hope that you incorporate what happened into the development of your character and into that arc, because that's kind of what happens. Like as you start to play, things happen, and that character molds and changes based on that. So I think it was awesome. I hope Gorge sees that it worked and then tries it again. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't work. I think it'll
Yeah.
be awesome. Um, full disclosure, if you had
Oh,
gone
that's a great
into
point.
torture, like breaking fingers and stuff like that, Zutag was just going to kill him. Like, no questions asked, Paladin, mercy type deal. Just no, that's not the way we get answers. I had full intent as we started to go into okay, we're going to interrogate mode. I walked up, zone of truth, gave a chance. Luckily, you were more psychological torture than physical torture, because if it had been physical torture, I was taking him out.
So it's funny you say that. And part of Gorge's methodology there was he was a bit concerned that the group might move towards physical torture and didn't want to do that. He did not want to see pain for the sake of pain, and so this was almost a compensation to make sure that there was no physical torture.
Interesting.
Also, a little bit of frustration that we've seen people come back that we've let go, and so Gorge had a little bit of that. Listen, I want to put a pin in this one. I want to show mercy, but I don't want to see this guy coming after us again. We've been bitten by that once.
Do you think we get bitten by that again? Like that was going to be my next question. Do you think this comes back to bite us, or do you think that whoever's on the back end of this just kills him? Just kills him. We don't see it again. We see his body, but that's it.
Or does he just
You know,
go somewhere else?
that's
Start
a
a
good
new life.
question, and yeah, I don't think I know Evan as a DM well enough yet to know how he's gonna play it, and I'm kind of curious. I want to put it, at this point, Jesus is taking the wheel. Let's see how he runs with it.
Just compare Evan to Jesus. I'm glad he's not here right now.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Evan is 100% going to figure out how to turn this against us. That's just Evan. That's why he gave us like super powerful items. That's why he did all this shit. He is going to 100%. It may not be directly this guy, but us letting this guy live is going to fuck us. Maybe not bad, but it's going to catch up to us at some point in time. That's just
I would.
Evan's
love-
maniacal.
I think it's gonna help
I
us.
would-
I think we earned a friend.
I would like to see like in like 6-7 months, maybe up to a year, Gorge does a sending spell to this to CP and say like how you doing, and like find out like he's got like a wife and 2 kids. He started his own pastry business. He's doing
That's
real
what I'd
good
love
with
to see. That
himself.
would make that'd make me happy. Redemption arc.
That'd be fun. I do kind of like it. Like, so I think about it as if I were DM, I would definitely tie up loose ends. So if I'm the big bad, and I see this guy cut his symbol off, and you guys converted him, I'm just gonna kill him, tie up loose ends, kill him, and I'm gonna hang him somewhere where you can see him. That's just me.
I could see it. I could see it. That'd be like find little body
And
parts.
I'm the one that got crap about this, and Carl's pulling this stuff, and I'm the one that's the psychological.
I mean, maybe we gotta start our own witness protection agency.
Oh, that would be
Everybody
awesome.
gets everybody gets a disguise kit.
We have to, all right, we have to make some connections. We have to talk to Natheo about this. Let's set this up, and
We got
you know, we send them off to towns and set them up with different identities. I really like that. I think that'd be cool.
I think that's
Gorge, you're in
amazing. We
charge.
just work our way up the entire enemy org chart, just converting them. That's our goal.
Feels a little like we're working with the mob capos here. We're trying to convert them and get them to
They
testify.
are.
The mob always wins.
I don't recognize this group at all. I don't know what's going on with it. This is not our play style. We don't. Now we're gonna let people live. What? I'm all in. That's fine. Whatever. That's cool. We'll do it.
Keep it mixed up. I like it.
Interesting you say that.
Willow showed us the way.
So we talked about it since we're bringing it up. Willow and Zutag 0 damage. Now some of that was because Zutag can't roll for shit. But how do we feel about party members not really contributing to those damage tables? What do you think? Because I've been on the other side of doing the damage, and now I'm on the side where I'm almost a pacifist, and so I want to hear how that affects other people, not character-wise, but people.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, me, not my
Yeah,
character, not Galen. I think it's fantastic. I think you need that. I think if you have, I mean, going back to the days of WoW, I mean, you have to have your damage dealers, you got to have your crowd control, and you got to have your tanks. But I mean, D&D, you don't necessarily need, and it's kind of a bad thing to think about. But I mean, overall, I think it's perfectly fine because you have your healers, you have your crowd control. I mean, look at the last battle of for Phandalin. I think I did no damage whatsoever in the big bad battle. I think I did no damage.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
fair point. What do you think, Higgs?
My fear is.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Keith. You first. No, please.
I mean, me being the person that I don't like to do damage. I don't care for it. I mean, it's cool every once in a while, like to fuck with you guys and like go down and steal a kill or something like that, just to like play around. I mean, I would be fine playing a damage dealer. I'm sure I would like casting fireball, whatever. I'm just not a damage dealer. I enjoy controlling the field and playing like the psychological aspect of shit. So I think it's great. I think if we had all damage dealers, we would either get TPK'd within the first 5 episodes, or
Mhm.
we just run through everything because we rolled so
Exactly.
well.
It's
You know what I mean?
it's
So I
yeah.
liked it, and I like the versatility because at some point in time, it does create animosity, right? Like if you think about the characters, you know, I don't know, maybe Alara's gonna be like, Zutag, what the fuck? You're a paladin. You're supposed to be higher than mighty. You're not even helping us kill these people. WTF, dude. So I like it. I think it opens up the room for a ton of versatility and um, conflict, actually. Even like the interrogation, right? You would have just slit their throat, and the party would be like, dude, are you fucking serious? Like, I love it. I think it's cool.
I was
Yeah.
well prepared for that conversation. I was like, all right, I know it's gonna happen. We're gonna get into interrogation. Somebody's gonna be like, I punch him in the face, and then I was gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna slit his throat. This is not how we do this.
Willow was fully ready to sit back and just start mouthing things or just emceeing or refereeing the whole thing, kind of like you did in the windmill. If something crazy happened, I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was just gonna start going on with it and just like cheering people on and stuff, and just maybe like
So
kind of
Willow
poking
is
the
a
fire.
glorified hype man, is what I'm hearing.
Oh,
Mm,
100%. Yeah,
mm,
All right.
he has
yeah.
fun with shit like that. He's just trying to see what's going on with the party. I like it. And it's partly Keegan too. I'll admit it. I like it.
I
Anyways,
was gonna say it's been an interesting shift with Willow. He was so serious up front.
hmm I mean, listen, seeing what the party did was like, not really biting on the hag thing and stuff. I'm kind of like, I feel like I don't need to be serious. Like, this is kind of like in our name, kind of like tomorrow's problem. Like, I can kind of be a little more relaxed. I'm still not getting naked in front of you guys. Like, I'm not going to a whorehouse and let you see my wing game. But like, I feel like I could play around a little more. Like, you guys kind of,
I love that he called it a
yeah.
wing ding.
I'm a gnome, dude. Like,
Yeah, but you could be a tripod. You could be like Pimnam.
no. Willow is absolutely not that. It's small. Really long balls though. Not a big.
Go down to your ankles.
Big potatoes do make the steak look small. Gee, what are your thoughts on the damage or lack thereof for certain characters?
No, I was gonna say I worry. I worry a little bit, only because we do have some pretty hefty utility people. Outside of that wand, I don't think I have any attack spells. I think I got Toll of the Dead. I can do about 8 points of damage as Gorge, minus that wand of fireballs. And so we do get a couple hefty support casts. I worry a little bit with the offensive juggernaut that we'll need to be with Evan as a DM. We might be a little light on that, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
What's worst case scenario? We don't have the damage. We get TPK'd. It's a learn, right?
Willow has
Absolutely.
two offensive damaging spells, and they are both cantrips. Other than that, no damaging spells whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in some trouble.
But we also do have Alara. We
Mhm.
also have Phaedra, and I think sorry, Ashley. I can't remember Ashley's
Snag-
character right now.
And yeah,
And Stagdy. Yeah. So we do have 4 pretty decent
Yeah,
damage dealers.
Snagny
that's true.
deals out damage, and I think Ryan gets his character updated and is in the fold more often, I think we'll see more damage out of Allura too. Plus,
Yeah, I'm thinking about Magdi as a damage dealer.
mhm. Plus, like you said, you are 'cause Zutag is a paladin. There's always the potential for him to kick up the damage too. It's,
Yeah, there is potential there. I mean, we'll see. I kind of want
yeah.
to do that 0 damage based on religious background and force somebody to ask what the fuck, and that way we can have that conversation about it because I think that adds to the narrative.
I I think about it as like I may not do direct damage, but like whole person. That's
Yeah.
gonna elevate everybody else's damage significantly, right? So I think
Mhm.
about stuff like that and even upcasting it, where there's multiple people. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of, even though we don't do damage, there's a lot of potential to highly increase the amount of damage the overall party's doing. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Is
It's just,
is there a level in which it's okay that we don't output as much damage because we can sustain? So basically,
Yeah.
war of
Yeah.
attrition, we out sustain them and we end up
Mhm.
winning the fight.
see, I actually like
Yeah, I
that
mean,
idea.
looking
Yeah.
at D&D 5. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good. You're good.
I was gonna say, but yeah, based on D&D 5, either way it's set up, and the fact that we've got 8 party members, I think that is naturally going to be the case. You're correct. It's going to be really difficult to just overpower us. It's basically gonna have to wear us down.
Yeah.
I,
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like Evan's setting us up though. I mean, he gave us some pretty high powered items at level 5, level 4 or 5.
He did make a
Yeah.
comment, and I was going to bring that comment up. When I capture you all and strip it all away from you was the
Mhm.
comment, and I was kind of like, did the DM just tell us
Mhm.
something?
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we started the campaign out like that too. He gave us that little tidbit of, oh hey, we're gonna do a one shot where you guys are 5th level and it's like in the future. A little tease.
Oh yeah, Evan's absolutely playing this in
Mhm.
a super maniacal shit's gonna come back to bite you type deal. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I just know he's gonna try and kill us at some point in time. I think he's gonna throw some pretty high level shit at us pretty soon.
Well, I mean, if we go by that one shot, we eventually fight a hag at 5th level. In theory, that's pretty high level shit.
Mhm.
That'd be pretty fun.
Do
Just
we
see.
think that the hag
Yeah.
um, in the one shot is the sister that was captured? Because that's where I thought immediately as soon as we heard about
Mm,
the captured sister. No,
that's
Now
a
to
good point.
the
I don't think about
captured
that.
the hag that we saw in the dream was a midnight hag. The captured sister, the fourth hag that is captured is a green hag.
Green hag. Okay.
Could get interesting though.
could be some trickery there. What were you gonna say, G?
Maybe. Yeah.
I've got no idea. Yeah, I got no idea what I was going with.
I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna we're gonna get into either that battle or some variation of that battle, and that's where, you know, maybe even some party members die, and then we get captured. I feel like he gave us a little bit there. I don't know. Maybe my tinfoil hat's a little too tight.
I, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think he's got a lot of plans, and then as it's been structured, we've already faced it a little bit with some of the mental crowd control. And I mean, the hag basically put us all to sleep, put us in hold. What was the charmed us all? Uh,
I think it was
Mass
early
massive.
on
suggestion.
when Willow lost his
Massive.
legs. Yeah, mass suggestion. So I see a lot of that coming, and I think that's how it will lead to. I think he's planned. They're planning for a lot of mental attacks that way, and so it'll be interesting to try to offset that.
Mm.
It it's interesting because like in our first campaign, right? Like brute force kind of won us a lot of things, which was great. But this campaign, it seems like it's way more magic based, which to me seems a little more. We have to be strategic because one spell can take out how many people, and then that completely changes the battle, right? Like, Nisana casting the spells that she did fucked us real hard, right? We learned real quick we can't go in guns blazing. So I think this campaign is going
Oh
to be
yeah.
more at the entire time. So that's
As
why I like the fact of utility versus
Hmm.
fighting
I
right.
want to remind you that the plan for last battle was Leroy Jenkins. So that was not what you just said was counterintuitive to the entire plan for the last battle.
I feel like Leroy Jenkins worked out perfect.
That
No
is
plan was the
that is the
exact
pl-
plan.
that is the plan. No
That is
plan.
the plan. It
That is
was because we did what they were thinking we wouldn't do, which is strategy
exactly
in itself,
exactly.
All right,
right? Yep.
sure.
I feel like that was listen. It works out in these lower levels where like the spells aren't as crazy, right? When we get into the higher levels where
Fuck.
spells like we all rush in and it's like, oh, fireball. And there's not like, Gorge and I stay in the back and we're like, oh, we have counterspell, but we're pretty far away, so we're fucked. Big old fireball is going to hurt a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I feel like, we're probably going to get to that point, probably starting now, where we might have to think about who we're dealing with. Yeah.
So you mentioned counterspell being part of strategy, and silvery barbs I feel like has already played a pretty big role in this. Um, do you from if you were on the other side, if you're on the DM side, would you be annoyed? Would you be proud? What are your thoughts on the whole, like, because Keegan, you talk about it in the first campaign that you wanted to have more of that counterspell
I
back and
do.
forth, and this campaign has a little bit more of that just by nature. Um, do you feel like you'd be irritated as a DM if you were constantly silvery barbs every time you thought you were actually going to hit?
No, I think like what I would have to refrain from doing is knowing you guys as people, I would be expecting the annoying shit. Counterspell, silvery barbs. I would be expecting that right off the bat. So it would be difficult for me to not throw like small stuff out at you, like the occasional fireball, but then the occasional like first or second level spell just to get you to use that shit, and then fuck you with something real big. I would, yeah, I would have to refrain from that. But no, I would
Why
love the back
why
and forth
refrain? Why refrain?
because I don't want to be I don't want to be too meta, but I feel like as we get later on the campaign and people like really know who we are, they're gonna realize, oh shit, we can potentially fool these guys a little bit. So we're gonna try and get out the counter spells. They're high magic users, right? We're gonna try to get out that stuff out of them, and we're gonna see if we can outlast them. So
Interesting.
I don't think I'd be irritated. I think I would really enjoy the fact that no, yeah, this is what we plan. Like this is the magic back and forth. Let's see who can outlast who. I'm in for it.
As a as a DM, I got one word, which is actually two words. Legend legendary resistance.
Yeah.
How many times is a player like, oh fuck, man, I hate that shit. But then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's awesome. It's kind of, it's like, I
So
don't know. I think it's twofold. I look at it both ways. I think it's great.
are you equating silvery barbs and counterspell to the
Yeah,
legendary
yeah,
resistance? Okay, I thought
yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying use legendary resistance to
yeah.
not
Or
get silvery barbs or something.
or that. But
Yeah,
but yeah. But that's that's how I look at it.
fair. Gee, from a
One
DM perspective, we don't do it too much in campaign one as of right now. I'm not saying we won't get there, but what are your thoughts? If I know Keegan Silvery barbs the crap out of you, what if every player had silvery barbs like they do in this campaign?
So for me, my frustration comes in if I it comes in the fear that if I can't make the battle threatening, that you'll get bored, and if you get bored, you're not enjoyed and you're not engaged. And so my only frustration whenever the silvery barbs and fog clouds and everything come out are, oh shoot, considering all this, can I still make the battle interesting and engaging enough that everyone enjoys it? And so that's really it. And so as long as you can counter that and make it worthwhile, absolutely threat. And so I just need to find a different way to make a threat. And so I'm good with it as long as particularly whenever you talk about a silver barbs and like, yeah, as a party member, like that's the joy. Like, great, that's a win for me. If you
Uh,
enjoyed that you just screwed me over, awesome. I love it. Makes
yep.
me happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like it didn't. I'm gonna pretend how upset I am, how much I hate Fallen Cloud, but I'm gonna love it deep down.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the same
Uh,
time, like
I agree with that.
you can't let the party steamroll you though, right? Like
Yeah.
you like they're silvery barbs and like
Exactly.
fog cloud and
That's a
so on and so
challenge
forth.
that I need.
Right.
So then at some point you have to work in those legendary resistances or different things to where like, yeah, all right, you do that to me, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this to you. Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting.
Exactly.
One thing I wondered about thinking about counterspell and stuff like that, right? So counterspell is, cast a spell, you counterspell it, right? But you can upcast it. But very rarely, and maybe this is just me, but very like I know in like Critical Role, right? They say, "Oh, I'm gonna counterspell this," right? And by the time you say, "Hey, you're gonna counterspell this," you generally know what the spell is, meaning you generally know what level it is. But I always wonder like why they don't tell people, "Hey, if you're gonna cast counterspell, you have to tell us ahead of time what level you're casting it at," right? I don't
We used
know.
we used to
Well,
play it that if a character or creature was casting a spell, you got to make an Arcana check to see if you knew what the spell, depending on what you rolled, knew what the spell was, knew what it did, knew what level they were casting it at. So you would like, depending on what you rolled, that would tell you what kind of information you got. So
Interesting.
if
Yeah,
you
and we did that a few
roll,
times in campaign one
yeah,
Yeah,
whenever it came up.
yeah,
Would I know this spell? Would I know
yeah.
what they're doing? And
yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
And some of that is based on like what you've actually seen in the campaign. So as the campaign grows, then you're like, yeah, no, I've seen this
yeah,
cast
I've seen that
before, and
before.
cool.
Yeah,
So,
I'm interested to see how a lot of that kind of stuff plays into it as well. But I'm ready for the I'm gonna counterspell your counterspell and do this and
Hmm.
that. I'm waiting for us to go up against like a group of mages just to see how we handle that. 'Cause I think
if
that's
that
gonna be a much different fight.
if that happened too often, though, I feel
Oh,
it would just become like not as cool. The wow
Yeah, yeah.
factor would die off. So I feel like that's one of those things that you just have to sprinkle in. It
mhm.
can't be in every battle thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you have to have some of the easy fights just to like pick up the motive. Then you have to have some of those really hard ones where like, oh fuck, we won, but we barely survived. How do we make it a little easier next time? And then those ones where you absolutely lose and you like it almost forces you to run away. Like yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel like there's definitely a balance. It's just a matter of I don't know. I feel like a party, no matter what, it's
What's
going to be
interesting
like fun
about that
fights.
is Carl, I think you hit the nail on the head there, and how much just that sprinkling it in or changing it up has an impact. What's interesting is Nasana, that fight and that character was designed to be my break up the brute force, purely a throw in, magic user, spellcasting, mental, purely a one off break up the campaign a little bit. And it had such an effect because it was different that it became such a big part of the campaign and it
Yeah.
pivoted the whole thing. So I think you hit the nail on the head on how much of an impact just that change from whatever it was can have.
Do you
Love
think
that.
that it actually changes the player's playstyle or the characters, if the players are playing the character playstyle when that happens? You know, Geeks, you mentioned that you and that Willow and Gorge might be more towards the middle back. Do you think if we run into a situation in which we had to retreat, and then you're like, fuck, if I would have just been in ranged counterspell, does the character start playing differently?
Yeah. So
Well, I think
Willow.
absolutely.
Yeah, Willow took spells specifically for escape, right? So one of like, as a wizard, you want to take fireball and you want to take this stuff, and I really stick to the illusion spells just because they really don't do damage, right? Like higher levels, they do like some crazy shit. Like these lower level ones, they really don't. They're all about utility. And it got me thinking about other spells, right? Like how can you use something like Arcane Lock and other things to help escape and make sure you can't get caught stuff. So I think yeah, if we run into stuff like that, it absolutely changes. And Keegan's kind of prepared for that. I'm not sure Willow thinks about it yet, but yeah, I absolutely think it does. But I'll be interested to see like if we do run into those scenarios, how long it takes for people, the magic users and stuff like that, to really shift in their battle plans versus, oh shit, we probably should have stepped in like 3 turns ago. My bad. So yeah, and then the animosity it brings and stuff like that too. Like I'm ready for the conflict. That's what I'm
So
excited about.
I feel like, and maybe this is just Carl, we, Garrett, you made a comment about the Nasana fight being that breakup, and it kind of shifted us, but it didn't really shift us in the fact that the characters still did the same exact thing every future battle until we hit that wall again, and then whereas if we had shifted, certain people had shifted the play style. Nothing against anybody's play styles. You play how you're having fun, but if those characters had adapted, the next battles might have been different. The next battle with Nasana might have been different. You know what I mean? And I guess you could counter that by saying the next
True.
battle with Nisana was different, but it wasn't at the same time. It was still, minus the assassins, we were still trying to steamroll.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on how much it shifts it. I mean, one well placed fireball, and for a while the group considers not clustering up. That they learn from that, and you generally have a pretty good avoidance of that. And even recently, one good lightning strike, and you guys try to avoid lining up in a row. So
True.
there are pivots to the strategy, and the group does grow. Maybe it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of thing, and the longer it goes, the more it fades from memory. But I think you can absolutely see the evolution of the group. One flanking and taking down Althea. She stays a little tighter to the group now than she used to.
All
Not
right.
not
So
completely, but
yeah,
tighter.
maybe it's just I'm not conscious of that to think about it because there's other things going on.
Yeah,
So
Amruk goes
interesting.
in. Amruk's going front line no matter what. But I think I think Keegs made a great point there that if one missed counterspell opportunity, and I'm going to start considering a lot more where I'm at as Gorge, thinking, oh shoot, I can't just sit back and be utility. I
Yeah.
do need to engage more. So I've tried not to meta that way. I did not measure distance for how far out I was to think that way. But at the same time, I am waiting for it so that I can merge Gorge in particular. And that's just using one example.
I have to say, I think that is the one fun aspect of a cleric is your positioning is so key. I think as a cleric, your positioning is more key than anybody else in the battlefield
I agree with
because
that.
Oh, absolutely.
your healing words only work so far. Your cure wounds have to be melee. Even you start looking at like things like spiritual guardians and stuff like that. That's in your 30-foot radius. So you can't just be, oh, I'm just gonna be 60 feet from everybody. You can't. As the healer,
Yeah.
you have to be in the middle of everybody. And it's like, okay,
And I'm
I
trying
know
to
the
play
fire.
Gorge a little clumsier now that
Yeah,
hey, he's an inexperienced in battle.
mhm. And it's one of those things too. It's like, okay, I know the fireball's going to be centered on me. Damn, there's nothing else I can do, sort of thing. As the cleric, it's one of those fun puzzles that you have to figure out.
That's
Exactly.
interesting too. The one thing that so I brought up like using potions and using spells more often because I just find that interesting. I'm also interested to see if as a group we say, oh, well, we generally know we're going up against magic users or people who like to cast out fireball constantly, right? So I'm curious if it's gonna make the group think of, oh, maybe we go get something with like fire resist, or maybe we have our armor or something, imbued with some type of fire resist, something like that, right? I'm curious if we start to think about those type of things too, because I don't know, I find that stuff interesting, and
Well, yeah,
yeah, so I'll be curious. I don't know what
consumable
anyone's gonna throw at us, but I'm curious.
consumable magic items are
Yeah,
always fun. I always feel that they're underutilized though, like potions and stuff like that. Especially I don't know, especially with video games. I'm like
Oh,
I'll get that
absolutely.
in a video game. I'm like, oh fuck, I got like 2 pages of potions and scrolls that I never used.
yep.
it
Oh
is
yeah.
a good way to force your party or to allow your party to spend all that gold. I've heard about the lack of or the fact that you have so much gold that you do nothing with because
Yeah.
nothing when you think about the cost, if you bought all of the alcohol in a town, it would cost you like 10 gold pieces, and meanwhile you're getting 100 gold pieces from one
Yeah.
adventure. So like that
The
forcing that use
economics.
of exactly, I think that would be
Yeah.
kind of fun too. So actually going out and spending the gold that we get a lot of and then to help us in the next fights. I like it, Kigs. It's a good idea. We'll see. Zutag's not going to think about it, so good luck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really hard for me not to like meta on stuff like that because I really want to do it, and I feel like it's done very subtly. It would be okay. So I'm really trying hard not to like go nuts with something like that, and I've really held off with it. But I think if we get into like some deep shit, we might get hey, maybe we should get some potions of whatever type of resistance, or we know hags are vulnerable to I don't fucking know cold damage. Maybe we get something that has more cold damage, right? So I'm curious what information we find out and how we utilize it. But I'm fully relying on Zootag to figure it out. That's Willow's go-to. That's 100% going to be Willow's go-to, no matter what information we get now. And be like, can you help me with it? I don't understand. Can you explain it? I'm 100%.
Joke's on you. Zutag loves puzzles. He just never comes to the right conclusion.
I know, and I'm just gonna
Throw him
play
off
it up.
the roof. That's the peak. Done.
I'm just gonna keep playing that up, just like the coin, right? Just now you're asking everybody to flip it. My work here is done. I don't need to do anything else. Like this is great.
I I'm
I
trying
mean,
it right now. It hasn't worked, so it might go. It might you know find its way out of the repertoire.
Yeah,
I you know
you're like 0-4 on that right now.
the coin it threw
No,
me off.
1 in 4. You got Gorge.
Yeah, yeah. The coin it is throwing me off though. Like I didn't think that, and maybe I just didn't read it right, but I didn't think that like if you point at somebody and you toss it, they have to call it no matter what. Like I didn't read the coin like that. I thought it had to be like a if you want to call it, you can. So that means like you can essentially go up to the king and be like, call it and flip it, and he had like whatever happens, happens, right?
I mean, as written, that's the way I interpreted it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm okay that we did it. I just did. I think that makes it a little more overpowered, but I'm totally cool with it because it's in Gorgeous hands and I trust in him. Whatever decision he makes, Will is totally cool with it.
I I, I don't know. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but it is a pretty powerful. Isn't that a legendary item or something? The coin, Evan?
No, if it is, and
No. So what I'm gonna say two things
Hey,
about the
there
coin.
he is.
Yeah, I'll say two things about the coin. This is behind the tables. This is the DM learning of how to make items and how I have to explicitly word things. I'm not going to change how the coin is, 100%. I will tell you the intent was not to be able to force someone to roll. We're not changing it. We're rolling with it, 100%. I have learned that I need to word things more appropriately, and that was my fault. So, um, what it is now, since it's a forced roll, you're probably looking more on the rare side, maybe even I would dare say a hair above that, maybe in the very rare side, just because you are at
the
this
full
level.
WoW Magic table, yeah,
Yeah, so
it's awesome.
I give that
Mm.
yeah, we're probably pushing on the very rare side of that since it's forced. If it were a people can choose to not to roll, then it certainly would kick things down to a degree. Um, yeah.
There's
You
no
gave me
role
an
to counter
implement
that,
of
right? It's not
chaos.
like a charm.
So no, and that's again where as a DM I had full in like in my mind I'm like, yeah, this is how this is going to work out, and when I wrote it down, I'm like, yeah, that's why people are explicit. So that was me. It was my fault. But I'm not going to change it because we've had so much fun with it, and I don't want to go back on that because learning experience, and I
Hey,
like it.
In
I
Zootag, we trust.
exactly. Exactly.
Now, I will tell you though, since it still is a magical thing, you may like when you get into higher level individuals, there more than likely will be something that's a yeah, you're just not able to force them because of the arcane nature of that individual. But
I think
outside of that,
counterspell would make sense. That you could counterspell it.
100%, 100%,
You know what?
100%.
Oh my
Legendary
god!
resistance.
Yes. That's the only thing you need. Don't do any damage, Zootag. That's the only thing you need to do. Force out the magic users to use counterspell. I'm in. You just fucked yourself. That ends the campaign. I'm in. I'm totally in. In. Yes. That is awesome. So
But
I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. This is great.
All right,
Please.
I want to ask you guys something about counterspell. So let's say I flip the coin and I'm pointing at one person. That person knows that I'm casting or whatever, and cast counterspell. The three other magic users that we're facing don't know, and it's time of reaction. Don't know that which one's going to cast counterspell. Would you like? Would they all potentially cast counterspell, or would you meta that and say, well, you see this person casting counterspell, so you don't? Because I feel like you have a narrow window to react.
Me, you're saying
Whoever wants to answer, I'm just bringing it up.
I would give it a perception. You know, if you wanted to, because basically you flip the coin, you're saying and someone else is going to counter, and then the intent is for someone else to counter that counter. Is that what we're?
No, I'm saying
no counters
so
the same.
multiple
Counters the same.
people on the
Yeah.
Oh,
opposing
I'm
side
sorry.
counterspelling the coin because no one communicated and knew who was going to counter, which it
In an
potentially,
opposite in an
yeah.
example would be you go to cast something as the DM, and me and Willow, Galen and Willow both cast counterspell at the same time.
Oh, understood.
We both one of us would lose the spell. One of us. I,
You lose
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
it's almost guaranteeing that the spell gets countered spelled, but you're losing two
Yeah,
slots.
that way it's not okay.
Yeah.
Counterspell. Well, I counterspell your counterspell. Well, I counterspell his counterspell. That chain reaction kind of works when it's multiple people, but not on the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you have that long. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts?
I, I, I would then apply that to all reactions for players too, which means multiple silvery barbs.
I agree.
Make you waste those the
Multiple
same way as
reactionary
counterspell.
attacks. Agreed.
Yep.
So
Even
who's to call
so,
on?
I wouldn't tell them if it worked or if it was if it killed them.
So should we play that as don't know if it works? Like anybody else going to do anything? And if they use their counter spells, then that's what they would do. Or if they hit somebody because they didn't know, they use their reaction for that round. Because I feel like that's the
Possible,
way to
similar to the
keep
way we don't show charm spells.
that's the way to keep people from being meta. And they were going to counterspell, but since Keegan spoke up first, I'm going to hold on to it. I don't need to.
I
I think you're gonna dance on a fine line there of uh that's I think you're gonna get annoyed with that at some point.
I'm not saying should or shouldn't. I like to
Yeah,
bring it up.
yeah, yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
And no, it's a in reality and fairness and everything else. Yeah, but I think the fairness is well, as a player, as the players can do that, they can kind of talk above the table and go, hey, I'm going to counterspell that. And Willow's going to counterspell it, so I'm not going to counterspell it. Well, as a DM, I can do the same thing. If I got two wizards on the battlefield, I'm not gonna use two counterspells from my two wizards to
Fair enough.
counterspell.
As long as it's fair on both sides, is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I would do is the only thing that I would add to that is that let's just say Keegan goes to counterspell. We assume he's going to talk and just so everyone knows he's going to say I'm going to counterspell. If he is silenced or he's used up those couple of words within because we allot a handful of words. If he uses those, then I would personally play it out as he is not able to verbally say that he's doing this to a said person And then that would add the level of, well, what is Willow trying to accomplish? So I would probably push on that one a little bit, but otherwise, I'm going to assume that you guys are communicating just like the enemies would, and say so slight level of increase of playthrough, I guess, on when you want to
Yeah,
say things and how. But
I look at it. I look at it this way: the characters on the other side of the screen, yeah, they can kind of talk above the table too, right?
yeah,
So
I,
yeah,
I'd almost kind of base it off of like line of sight, right? Like, we're in the alley, right? And I'm on one side of the map, and Gorge is on the other side of the map, and we're, between us is a massive wall, but we can both see the caster. I would almost base,
oh,
I would almost keep that
mhm,
in consideration. As long, again, as long as it's, like you guys said, like it's even, right? As long as the same thing would apply to the enemies and stuff like that. I think that would be it just adds to that level of difficulty. But
mhm.
I think that's cool, right? I think if you put yourself in the actual battle, you don't know if somebody else is going to cast it if you can't see them. You're just assuming that you're the only one that's going to do it, and
And you
you
don't
know,
know
to,
at
to,
what level they were going to do it. And I agree. I think it would be really cool to be like, all right,
uh,
anybody else
uh,
going to do anything? I don't know if that's going to work. I'm going to cast it too, and
you know
potentially
what?
waste a
A-
spell slot or whatever.
Again, I think it's cool. It's cool, but in the reality aspect of it all, that's another thing the DM has to remember.
True.
oh, 100%, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know?
it definitely adds a level of complexity to us.
Yeah.
I think doing it constantly, having like a we're just going to do it no matter what, I think would be too much. But like once you get into those higher level battles where you really have to think about what you're doing and things kind of slow down, well, maybe not with us. We don't really slow shit down. Maybe that's a bad, yeah. Never mind. We don't slow shit down. We kind of speed things up. But anyways, if you were to slow things down, it might be
Yeah.
maybe that makes sense. Yeah.
I would say that's one of those forced fumbles that when you're thinking about it, where you pull the I didn't know he was going to do that, and so I do this on your own character. So it's a DM. You pull those forced fumbles once in a while. Of well, I didn't realize that, so I'm gonna do this stupid thing that I shouldn't have had known to do. And so I think it's a great one that you pull that out of. Well, both these guys cast counterspell because they can't see each other, and it's one of those. If they're too OP, that's almost how you mitigate it. Take away one of their counterspells that way in the narrative. But I don't think I'd make it continuous. But I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Sounds like a great idea for sure, Devin.
Yeah, probably it is. Let me write that down. That's a really good one.
Anyway, want to talk about
Oh,
stats real
you
quick?
guys, you guys have to go on and see the video I posted today at 12:15. I don't know if you guys saw it yet, but I will tell you, I acted out the Imrith Amrook astral plane scene. I acted it out. Good luck, go watch it.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
I thought it was. Look, it was the goofiest shit that I've ever done. This could be probably going to be a total flop. I thought it was hilarious as I did it though, so we're gonna see what happens.
You know what, Evan? If it's terrible, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I just hope you didn't say the word necromancy in it at all.
Fuck, I didn't, and I should have. Damn it! I did
Uh,
dress up in onesies. But I'll leave it be. Go ahead, Carl.
Stats. Healing off the charts. Damage,
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
said before, war of attrition. Uh, Fun, not fun, general take. Just off the cuff, what do you got?
Not
Go
fun.
ahead, DM. Not fun.
Not fun. I'm kidding. It was awesome. You guys wiped through all the everything that I thought of. It was great. Yeah, I had a
You
lot of
say
fun.
wipe through. I feel like we didn't wipe through. We just outlasted. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I didn't hit shit.
Yeah, no, you
I'm still
guys.
getting used to that.
Yeah, I did take out Phaedra just because I had a surprise round, which I felt so good about. It was awesome just picking him off. I loved every second of it. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
Phaedra,
you guys.
Phaedra was doing his impersonation of Snagdy.
Yeah, exactly. Bam, down, bam. Yeah, it was amazing. Um, you guys wiped through the utility you guys have. It's always surprising to see how everyone uses spells, and when I see someone use a spell, um, it's really interesting as a dynamic. Like you use Hunger of Hadar, I think it was.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's not crazy damage, but especially at lower levels, it is enough damage to where people are like, oh, should I move? Should I not? Am I going to take extra damage? And it's enough to literally CC the entire enemy base, and it's
Yeah.
just it's really cool to watch. So overall, I thought it was awesome.
It's crowd control and mitigated damage. It's pretty cool spell. I love it.
And the 7th level Fireball. I mean, who can get around that? So awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gorge was talking
I
about how
like
he's
it.
not a damage dealer, but he's got a wand now.
Yeah.
You're a wizard.
No,
Eric.
I like it. It's me. I get excited when we get into battles. Like I'm a 50-50 when we do like in between roleplay and combat. But I do have to say I generally enjoy and maybe it's because I'm a glass cannon right now, and that is kind of fun. But that's my take.
Do you feel if you didn't have as many, because I feel like for a healer, for instance, for a cleric, you have to be paying attention so that you can know this person went down. I got to get them. You know, I need to react here. I need the silvery barbs. I need. Whereas if you're not playing a character like that, you get less invested. You would be less invested.
You're asking that or saying what are you
I'm
saying
asking.
that?
Yes. Because I know when I play Zutag, I have to play him dumb, so it's a little tough for me. I have to disconnect a little bit and actually not pay attention during battles so that I can pull that off. But
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that if I was playing a cleric. How would you play a dumb cleric? Like that thought just went through my mind, and I was like, huh. Because you would have to be paying attention, you'd have to know, but then you'd have to force yourself to not know, and it would be tough.
In a way, clerics you generally have to have high wisdom, so it's more of a question of are they just a bag of rocks or they're just completely inept in battle. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to try to think about, I guess.
All right, we're gonna sign off here in a minute. Anybody got anything else that stuck out from them or for them from last session?
I mean, I'm like, I kind of was hoping Evan wasn't here for this part, but what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on?
The like, because we killed the Countess, who we thought was, but it's obviously someone else. Not that Zutag knows any of this. Who's the Countess? But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, what's tied into? Is this tied in with the hags or you know is this tied
It's
in with
it.
the princess? I have so many questions.
I'm gonna
I
tell you right
so
now
love that
who the big bad
it's
is, and
Yeah,
who's
yeah. Who's
responsible
the
for
big bad?
everything. It's
Yeah.
Lynene.
Lining's coming back. She's
We
really
think
like
about.
grandmother
We haven't
back.
seen her in Phandalin 5 in how long? She is definitely the puppet master.
She's
Oh shoot! How did I miss the pivot to Phandalin 5? I missed the
yeah.
pivot. I had to step away for a few minutes. This is beautiful.
Uh,
Oh yeah, this is even better then. Who the big
Lynene
bad
is
is?
the big bad for campaign 3 for Aglarion. She's the puppet master. We just figured it out. You two have been in cahoots. That's why we haven't seen Lynene in 2 years. She has been setting up her empire in Aglarion. Done. Problem solved.
Damn it! You guys figured it out. I'm out. Campaign 1 over.
And 3. Fuck.
And 3
You're
done.
welcome.
Moving
Same.
on. Mortai's Misfits go.
Yeah, I guess when are we gonna find out? Like are things gonna start to come together soon?
Of what?
I will tell you this. Um, within pending you guys don't do anything crazy, which is always a
We will.
chance. Yeah, you guys will. You more than likely will find out a boatload of information, and things will get very twisty here within the next 3 sessions. Um, I will tell you the next session is going to be you guys are going to get back. Some things are going to happen. You'll learn some things potentially. If everything goes away, I'm thinking it might go, which is a 10% chance. You'll learn some things. Um, you'll talk to some interesting people, and I'm going to end it with everyone's going to have for the next couple of weeks um, some downtime to do whatever you want. And then we're going to slightly forward a couple of weeks to where the Kings games come about. So give you some downtime to do a few things, maybe spend some gold, do some trading, whatever you would like to do from the background, and then 2 sessions from now it'll probably be the Kings games, and yeah, you'll learn some stuff, lots
This
of
is
stuff.
more gold than Zutag's ever had in his life, so I'm ready to spend. He's burning a hole.
Yeah.
I just
So I think you all will make some connections here very, very soon.
I think you need to be ready for us to kill Chad and take his house.
Jazz? Yeah.
He's
That would
Chad.
be a very bad idea.
He's Chad. What? Will's burning it down. Zutag already told him it's okay. Willow's burning that thing to the ground.
Okay. All right. Hey,
Hey,
I get it.
I
Candle's fun.
consider Zutag more of the weapon, but Willow's pointing the weapon. I just want to say that.
Candles fall over all the time. Shit happens. Wasn't me.
All right,
I'm
we'll
excited
wrap
for
it
it
up
though.
there. Good stuff, Evan. We had fun last session. I think we were on this Sunday, and then the following Sunday is Mordai's Misfits. I think.
Yeah, this Sunday we have. Next Sunday, Mortal Misfits. Yep.
Cool.
All right.